Greetings. Tuesday, the 3rd of August. It's 8:30 in the morning. Pretty early for me. Still, weather looks it could be a bit mixed today. Great weather up until now, nice and warm, height of summer, garden's doing well. What have I got for you today? Well, the first thing is about Jonathan Pickup's EPUBs. Now, EPUB is a publishing document for electronic means. And up until now, Jonathan has been always, well, in fact, I have been using PDF files to send out. But PDF has one major drawback, and that is you can't embed, well, you can embed video into them, but a lot of the readers, particularly the iPhone and the iPad and the other readers, just don't look at video. That is until we discovered the EPUB format through iBooks. And after a lot of work and discussions, John, and to a little extent, I must add this in, just a very little extent, my input, he managed to figure out the way of embedding video in, and I'm actually surprised. It's very good. It works exceedingly well. It's very swift. And as soon as the video finishes, it goes straight back to where you were before. No problems at all. So I'm absolutely astounded. It's great. Nice to see it being done. And of course, when John goes through his tutorials in his books, you can only do so much with written word. The video is the sort of cream on the top of the cake. It just explains it, and you suddenly become aware of the method of drawing that he's trying to explain, and so the two together work extremely well. That's text and video. Very pleased for John. I know he's done about 4 so far, and they're up on his blog site. I think he's trying to work out how to put it into iBooks and Apple, and as soon as they accept it or he figures out how to get it in, I'm sure it'll go up there. But in the meantime, you can get them from his website. And to be honest, all you do is just drag them into your iBook on iTunes, and it just brings them in. No problem at all. Logo comes up, correct page and everything. It's absolutely great. So, what else have I got to talk to you about? While I was on holiday, I went sailing for a week last week, and I was sitting in a little bar, as you do, looking out, and I suddenly noticed that this wall, which was a rendered wall made to look like a stone facade, I'd got a whole area of paint that had been peeled off. And when I looked at it, I suddenly realised what was going on, and that the paint that they'd used to cover this wall was in fact non-permeable. And the room behind was both an office, a pub and a restaurant. And obviously the humidity was quite high in there, and it was driving through the wall, condensating on the outside and blowing the paint off. Now, this is standard stuff for any technologist, and if you're into CPD, which I hope you are looking at this, have a look at the condensation risk analysis and just try and work out what was going on. High humidity, driving pressure for vapour through the wall, it condensates, it comes towards the outside of the wall, and normally what would happen is that the wall would breathe that moisture out. But if you put a non-permeable surface like a paint on the outside of the wall, the water can't go anywhere, and it builds up, and the pressure pushes the paint off the wall. Exactly what it does. Have a look on the blog site. There's a nice photograph on there, and as I say, look at the CPD behind it. Try and understand about vapour and permeability. RIBA product selector. Now, I'm a big fan of this book. You'll see it on if you have a look at the photographs of my office and the shelf I've got, there is my product selector for this year, volumes 1 and 2 together. I think that's a bit big actually, but believe me, this book is a well-practiced book. I use it all the time. It saves me having a load of literature in there. It's got a big index system, and each subject has got its own index. I think it's a great book. And get this, it's free. All you got to do is to go onto the RIBA product selector site and register for it. Now, I don't know how that works abroad in the US or Canada or anywhere else in the world. I'll try and find out for you. But if you're in the UK, register for it, because it's an absolute dream. Great, great book, and it's well worth the effort of just going onto the site and registering for it. Building regs. Now, the building regs is undergoing some changes at the moment. Now, we as CIAT have had a note come out, which Adam down the office, I think, sent out. And basically, they're requesting people to comment on the building regs in areas where they think changes might be made, or items which need to be looked at or updated. Now, this is a great chance to get your views aired, and make sure that your interests in the building regs are noted. Get them in, send them to central office at ciat.org.uk, and just make sure that your views are noted. I'm doing both. I'm going to go send them both to CIAT, and I will send them in also direct to try and get 2 hits on it. I'm quite keen on that. I've got some ideas that I think should be aired. For one, why can't I link to the building regs as a URL? I can do it on the PDF and say, well, I can do it to the site, but I can't do it to the PDF. So what I'd like to do is to have a section that I can go straight to, and I can point the building regs or the contractor that I'm trying to talk to, say, go to this URL, and there's a section that you should be looking at, and that's the law. You can't do that at the moment. I don't think there's any way of doing that. You can just say, go to part M or L and look at section whatever, but you can't guide them to it, and that, I think, is part of the BIM thing that is going on at the moment. We should be able to do that. The library system within Vectorworks is fantastic. It allows me to pick up the right PDF from my own disk, and I can then navigate to it. But I can't actually link to it on the drawing, and that's what I want. Okay, what else have I got? Oh, WebNash. Now, I've been a big fan of this site for a long time. Go onto my site and look for WebNash Building Design. He's the guy that runs it is a big green oak timberman, and builds some absolutely fantastic structures. And one of the things I've been looking at on his site is, and he's just started to do it an awful lot, he's looking at actual construction joints. Now, I'm a big fan of this. I love construction joints in timber. I think they're absolutely great. And the one that he showed on one of his sites was the scarf joint. Now, the scarf joint is absolutely brilliant for extending the length of a timber. And the one he shows is like, the best way to describe it is a dovetail joint, where the 2 joins come together, but they're interlocked. And the locking mechanism is a wedge that goes down the centre of the joint. Now, I happened to be talking to Jonathan on this the other day, and he showed me a little video that he made up, and I've included it here, of the two parts coming together, and then the wedge being inserted in the centre to show how it expands the joints against each other, and it makes a very firm joint. Excellent stuff. Loved it a lot. So that's it. I can't think of much else to tell you today. I'm back up to about 9 minutes, so with the introductions we're on to 10 minutes. Okay, love you and leave you. Be good, be kind, and enjoy life. Toodaloo.